So once again, welcome to the Unshakable Foundation meeting of Cocaine Anonymous. This is a main show meeting, and unfortunately, Dwayne couldn't make it tonight due to being unwell. So tonight, it's with great pleasure and lots of gratitude that we welcome Carl L., who's come to share on the topic of progressive disease for up to about 40 minutes, after which we'll open up for the Q&A portion of the meeting. So with that, Carl, thank you for being with us today, and it's over to you.
My name is Carl, and I'm an addict. And it's an honor and a privilege to speak on this platform today and reach out clearly across the world and share my experience, strength, and hope. And it's good to know that Cocaine Anonymous exists in other areas as well, in other countries. It is the fellowship that I sought for, that attracted me, that there could be a possibility of change in my life. And that change is to recover. I do have a topic, and I would like to just gradually move into that topic, if you don't mind. My sobriety date is December 11th, 1996. But by the grace and loving care of God, that I remained sober. There was times I just couldn't remain sober. Even after a time of being separated, I always returned to it. And I tried other ways to change. But what I realize now is that I had no idea what was wrong with me. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know the nature. I didn't know the root of my problem. And that's what's so beautiful about this program, is that it gets to the root of the problem. That program is outlined in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the first 103 pages. The subject is progressive disease. And myself, it took a long time. It takes what it takes. What I see, I wasn't one of those kids that was real bright in school. I had preoccupied issues. I couldn't concentrate, and I was slow to learn. And I see that that's something that's real typical of addicts. We're slow to learn that drugs and alcohol or the lifestyle that we're living is no good for us. It takes a long time to get that point. Well, for me, it did. And what is needed here doesn't take my intellect or no one else's intellect. I done placed myself to beyond the aid of humans. So I had no idea that I had done that. But when I got here, it made sense. And I had to start to rely and abandon myself to this power, which was going to enable me to live. But first, I had to do it to this process of recovery that's outlined in the Big Book, which was going to enable me a relationship with this power that was going to enable me to live. But first, before I was able to pursue this, because I pursued it without knowing, I was so far in the dark, I couldn't see the truth if you put it in my face, man. I've been living this way. I remember at a very young age, man, when I told God, man, I can't live the way that you want me to live. I'm gonna have to do this on my own. And I had a resentment with him. I remember at the age of 12, I had a resentment with God. I knew God. I was in the church. I was baptized. I knew right from wrong. But I didn't like the way that he was directing my life. And my parent, I didn't like the way she was doing things. So I decided to run my life on self-will. And I had no idea what contract that I was signing, because I don't know what's wrong with me. And I lived for 23 years on self-will. And I'm going to tell you, gradually, progressively, it got worse. From that point on, man, look, I'm going to tell you, I wasn't a very good criminal. I stayed in juvenile hall. I stayed in county jail. And I stayed in state prisons. I had one state number for 12 years, off and on. I didn't do 12 years all at one time because I'm a petty thief. I'm not no gangster. I'm not no level 4 yard shot caller and all that kind of stuff. Man, I'm just a humble servant, man, just really trying to live, man. But my options was messed up. I didn't have anything really there for me. I had to try to figure this out on my own. At least I thought that's what I thought. And I kept me, in bondage. But things didn't get better. Things got worse. But there was some high points in my life. There was times where I really arrived. Man, I was playing college ball. I had gotten myself through my addiction and my lifestyle of crime, lying, stealing, and cheating. I was able to get myself through college, and I had a promising career playing football. But also I was preoccupied with the street life. And my decision-making was twisted because I relied on myself. I didn't know how to go to God or wait on God. I knew if you dealt with God, you had to wait on him. And I wasn't trying to do that. And just to make a long story short, I had a good season, promising career, and I blew a full ride to a 4-year university. I decided to go sell drugs, and I lost that opportunity. And I would like to say that that's probably the road that I was supposed to take, because I don't regret where I'm at today. I love to help people. I love this fellowship, and I love where I'm at today, and I wouldn't change a thing. What I learned about this disease, it was over a period of time. I learned that when they say a fundamental idea of God in each man, woman, and child, that let me know that there's a spirit of God in me, and that's the God that I pray to. That's the God that I worship within me. But also little things was like coming together, man. I went to school to get my diploma at the age of 50. And I remember I was amazed at the materials that they was giving. This is all the stuff that I was missing in 5th and 6th grade. And they was talking about what is the atom, neuron, proton, electron, right? The neuron and the proton, they have this, they grip together. Then you got the electron in incredible speed that's going around this atom. And they said the smallest one that you can see under a microscope, there's a billion more and they're doing the same thing. And each one of those billion is a billion. Oh, come on, look. Now, I know didn't no man put that together. I knew God did. And I said, I'd like to get on his side. Who put that atom together? That's amazing. And so over time, certain things start to, I need sometimes things I get a little bit here, then I get a little bit here, then I get something here and it just put it all together, man. These little things that God sent me, these little realizations, more will be revealed. They saying what I need needs to be revealed. I like that. Because when it comes, man, it just comes crystal clear. And it'd be like, damn, is that what that means? And so they say God is everything. And I start to really look at that. Either he's everything or is he nothing? And I got, and I'm like, I didn't ask to be here. Someone decided to get together and do their thing, and they had me. But I like to say that no one's here on earth by chance. Some people go to different states, they meet a person, they have sex one time, and they have a child, and that person leave that place and never see that other person again. But they went there to put that child together and procreate it and bring that child on this earth. God knows exactly what he's doing. I don't think that I'm here right now by mistake, bro. There was many death-defying obstacles that God has saved me from to get to where I'm at today. And it ain't by something slick or clever that I did. So all I did is put myself in the position to be killed several times. And I'm not really a bad dude, man. It was just where I lived, the places that I put myself in. I don't put myself in those situations no more. I stay close to the fellowship of people like me that's seeking God. And also, I'm looking at God as everything. So what if he's my bad too? He's my good and he's my bad. If he's over everything and he's over my bad, then why did he put it here? What purpose does it have? I begin to think. Then I have to describe the bad. He had to show me the bad. What is that? It's many names. I find out in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that the writer used many names to say the same thing. And some people call it the disease, the ego, my head, the demons, the devil. This is my perception. They all mean the same thing. And that thing is not outside of me. That thing is within me. I need to know the problem to be willing to seek the solution. If I don't know the problem, what do I need to go to God for, man? When you go to God, come on, you got to be like, and you never went to him before, you got to really be in bad shape. And I didn't know that was the point of my dis-ease. Then, they got words they use like chronic. Then we look up the word chronic in alcoholism. We look up alcoholism and we look at the word chronic and it says marked by frequent reoccurrence. Took me a while to get that. I'm telling you, I'm slow, man. It's okay because I know I'm around a lot of slow men. I like to cuss too sometimes, but I'm not going to do that here. But I know I'm welcome here with my slowness. Frequent reoccurrence. Oh, boy, it took so long for me to get this. But you get it when you work for it. And it put together why every time I got out of jail, I went back taking that first one. And when I take that first one, I go straight down, back where I left off at, homeless, parolee at large, hungry, ain't got no money, looking for another one, chasing that dragon. One more time. And what reoccurred was the unmanageability, fear. That one more time, I feel that I need to sell drugs to take care of myself. Because my mind I'm already self-defeated, thinking I'm a parolee, then an ex-con, they're not going to hire me, and I'm black. I don't stand a chance. So I'm self-defeated. I'm down on myself. So when I get out, I got a little gate money, and I invested. Because that's what I did. I sold drugs. That's all I knew how to do best, to sell drugs, but I could not get past that crack cocaine. Now, mind you, when I'm in jail, let's talk about progress. When I'm in jail, I don't think about dope. Man, I'm in there like Rocky, bro. Hit the speed bag, the body bag, I'm jogging, I'm participating in sports. I'll be studying I'll be doing my religion thing, and I'll be studying in the library, man, and oh, man, I'm just a model prisoner, man, getting out ahead of time, Don't think about no dope. But when I get out, I realize I put myself, one more time, I'm in that position where I need to take care of myself. And the first idea that I can come up, the bright idea that I can come up with for the 12th, the 13th time is that I need to get a dope sack to take care of myself. Already I'm taking penitentiary chances. But all the time I didn't think about this until I got out. And this is when I experienced the progression. All the time that they said that this disease run parallel with my sound thinking. My sound thinking is wholesomeness, God thinking, good thinking. But all the time, it's running parallel. So if I'm not really working on myself, then it's steady going. It's steady progresses. And what I learned is that I am no match up against my disease. Cunning, baffling, and powerful. To me, they ain't talking about alcohol. Because I ain't got to worry about alcohol as long as I don't put it in my body. My reaction to alcohol is what my problem is. Alcohol ain't my problem. So my reaction to life is what my problem is. Not the people in the world, the places and things. It's me. Everything is in me. My problem and my solution. Cut, dry, point blank. And y'all have to forgive me. I get loud. I come from a loud family. If you ever be around me and my family, we be yelling and shit. That's our normal conversation, bro. I'm sorry. And I'm passionate about this program, man. I'm just so passionate, man. A person that feels that he was undeserving. The first thing my sponsor told me when I completed my 5th step was that I deserved it. I knew exactly what he was talking about. I was deserving to have God in my life. I was deserving of his grace and mercy, which I lived a life that I wasn't worthy of anything good. Because anything good, I didn't know how to respond to it. But I knew how to respond to something bad. So my decision making was tore up. But I begin to understand the nature of this problem, of this disease, that, like I say, it wasn't the drugs, it was me. And that everybody is assigned one. We have a God and we have a disease or dis-ease within us. And left alone apart from God, because I lived a life of separation. So things got worse. They didn't get better. And it took so long for it to get my attention, man. I was a hardhead. And where it gets me to a place, because that's his job, to make me feel so miserable about me. My cry out to help on Skid Row, downtown Los Angeles, wasn't, God, please take the pipe out of my mouth. It was, please give me a chance at living before I die. Every time I took a hit at that, it was death that I was thinking. I was about to die. That was the high. I don't know. People say it still works for me. It didn't work for me, motherfucker. I didn't like that shit. And I was like, why did I put my life on the line to shoplift, my freedom, to get a nickel hit? And this is the shit that they put me through. I put all that work in, man. And they treat me like that. But I didn't know that what it is, my disease is designed to remove everything meaningful to me. And in this separation, they talked about the grip, being consumed, being in a grip. I didn't give it permission. I believe the lie that they tell me about myself, that I believe what I need to do and what I think I need for me. It tells me what, and I believe it because I think it's me coming up with this shit, right? But what it is this part of me that God put in me that's misguiding and misleading. That's the opposite of him, God. And I think it's me, but it's not, it's it. And it don't want me to know that it's it. Because if I know, then I might discover my problem and I might seek a solution for it. but it's designed to get me to the point where I get so disgusted, where I just say, oh God, please help me. Like I never said before. And I've been praying. I've been in cars, vacant cars, going to sleep. It's cold at night, ain't got no cover, in the fetal position. I'm 6'1", and I'm in a little ass sports car in the back, in a fetal position, trying to get some rest in between hits. And I asked God to help me. But that help didn't come to 10 years later, to where I reached a point where he knew I was done. I would like to say, yeah, man, I surrendered. I've been surrendered, man. That didn't have shit to do with it. It was he that saw that I had enough, that I had something for you to do. It was God. And he lifted that obsession off of me, man. I remember feeling this relief come over me, and I just blew the smoke out, man. I took a full pull, blew the smoke out, trying to look for the bell ringer, but I ain't been getting the bell ringer for 12 years. What I've been getting is extreme paranoia and psychosis. I start going crazy and fear that I'm about to get killed. And then I come down and put another one on and do the same shit. When I blew the smoke out, I didn't even feel nothing on that last hit. I just felt shame, just felt terrible, miserable. And I looked at the pipe and I'm blowing the smoke. I'm like, why the fuck I keep smoking this shit? I'm not getting the bell ringer out of it no more. That first hit, I'm not getting that. I've been smoking this stuff off and on for 12 years. My only separation was a prison sentence, bro. When I got out, I hit the pipe. The reoccurrence happens. Marked. That means it ain't going nowhere. I would always have it. So I believe that now. So I got to watch it. I got to keep my house clean and watch getting myself so far off and believing the lie where I get in the grips again. And I was explaining the grip in the grips. When I get in the grips of this progressive disease, I have no say-so on what takes place. I have lost, choice. I don't have a choice on what I do. I just do whatever it tells me. And it always tells me separation from God and from everything that means something to me. I found myself with the pipe, the lighter, a crack rock on Skid Row. How in the hell did I get here? And people are dying around me, literally, bro. Dying on Skid Row. Death. And before I die, I just want an honest chance at living. That was in my heart. That was that little child deep down inside of me crying out that never had a chance. Or, at least that's the way he thought. Probably all he needed to do was hold on, and God was going to, because he showed me what I could have had. He showed me what I could have had. Oh, yeah, he did. Them all stories. Yeah, I understand the progression of this disease. It is real. It is alive. It is good at what it does because it has been given the power by God. God created it. So I got to take that thing. I want to call it a MF, but I got to take that thing to God because I have no power against it. The only power that I have is the power of God, and it had to be accessed. And the only way that I can do that is my house have to be clean. You know, my thoughts, my disease get at me through thoughts. Thought, they say, is the final mathematically on, how this earth was created by thought. Thought is so important. So if my disease communicates through thought, God communicates through thought. That makes sense to me because I look up the word psychic, because when I'm looking up the word alcoholism, I need to find mind, body, and spirit in it. And I was curious out of psychological, the definition of alcoholism, psychological. I know that covered the mind, but it didn't cover the spirit. So I had to go a little deeper. And I looked at the word psychic, and that's why I saw mind and spirit. How close is the mind and spirit? When we look up a word and we see another word in it, those words are so, when you say one, the other one exists. I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like we look up power, choice, and control. You look at one, you see the other. So when you lose one, you lose all three. So with mind and spirit, they go together, man. That's the way I see it. The definition of psychic is in they have mind and spirit in that one word. So they are so close. And they said my disease, God has given it power. It has the keys to my mind. And all these character defects that I created on a life ran on self-will. This is the stuff I need to undo, but I need God to do it. I can't do it on my own because I'm the one created it. What I learned was before I got, in the lay aside prayer was that what I think I know, I was living a life trying to solve my own problems with the problem. And they said the problem centers in my thinking. My disease direct me through thought. And if I'm in the grips of it, it's always on its job. And it's doing for me what I can't do for myself. I can't run my own life. It's running my life. But I think it's me. Because I don't know the nature or the root of my problem. And so therefore, if I think that I could solve me by using me, I'm using the problem to solve the problem. That's why my problems pile up on each other, because I'm using the problem to solve the problem. And all I'm going to get is a problem out of that. Another problem. Wow. They say, like, they use an analogy, hitting myself over the head with a hammer, trying to solve a headache. Woo. I'm in the living room. Bam! Bam! Somebody walking. Man, what's wrong with you? Man, I got a headache. I'm trying to take care of this headache, man. They're going to think I'm out of my mind. Hell yeah, I'm out of my mind. That's how serious, I am trying to use my own thinking to solve me. And I can't see that. I'm in triple darkness. I got to come out. Look, man, if God's grace, he know what he created, man. It ain't my fault that he put all that together like that. So why not? Why not? I could be forgiven. I didn't ask to be here and to go through all this stuff. But what I learned that is part of his plan, that the disease don't actually have to be bad. It can be a motivator, giving me the opportunity to go to God. What good would good be without bad? Good would have no value. If everything was all good, we wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be no purpose if it wasn't no bad. It was just all good. How's it going? Everything's all good, buddy. How's it going with you? Everything's good. Everything's good with me, buddy. We'd be in heaven. It wouldn't be no purpose to be here on earth. Bad is what gives purpose. It gives me something to go to God for development. Climbing the pyramid, the stairs on the pyramid, and then reach that peak. And then you ascend. Boy, you are onto something that a lot of different people don't have the advantage. This way of living through Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm like, why change anything? That they were smart. Why change it? How could you do something else out of this, man? It's not even needed. That's why Cocaine Anonymous, I love this. I love this fellowship. They asked for permission to use this book. They didn't have to make another book. They asked AA permission. Thank you. Because I couldn't find a home in those other fellowships. And I go to their meetings, man. I don't put them down. And like I do panels at treatment centers. And I don't tell people, just go to Cocaine. I mean, just find an A, man. Just because I understand the sickness of the nature of my disease. And help is help. Just find an A. And there's more, They say we realize that we know very little. I'm like, damn. But I continue to seek this power that they continues to educate me about me. Why? Why? Because if I understand me, then I can understand the next person that is sick, self-sick, spiritually sick. Some people say, oh, the spirit don't get sick. Well, something's wrong. Look how you acting. Irritable, restless, and discontentment. What is that? Something ain't right. But the definition calls it disorder. So let's call it, my spirit is out of order. Is that a disorder? I don't have to say sick. But something ain't right about it because I'm acting like a damn fool, and I'm not connected to it. And man, I just like how brilliantly this program, wow. And I noticed that I'm not unique, man, with double digits. 10 years, man, I still was a baby. But you only gonna get what you put in it. And, I realized there is no other place for me to go. And I'm glad I stuck around and I stay close to the fellowship. And I do unity, recovery, and service to the best of my ability. So if I can be able to and myself, then maybe I can understand the next man and be helpful to them when they're going through a spiritual crisis. Ain't that my goal, to get in fit spiritual condition? Because if I ain't doing that, then I'm regressing. I'm going backwards. It runs parallel. So if I ain't seeking God, then it's moving forward. Then all of a sudden, things that are not so good becomes a good idea again. And I say yes to it so many times, I might become in the grip again. And it's running me. And I don't want that. Man, God has given me a family. He has given me a fellowship. He has given me wonderful people in my life. And this is my biggest thing that I want God to show me and work, be able to allow my wife to be her. My wife is bipolar, and she, at any moment, she can say some shit that really messes me up. And but here it goes again, my reaction. It's not my wife. When me and my sponsor sit down, we don't sit down and talk about what she does. We look at me. We put aside what they did, because it's not the person that I'm looking at what they did. And then we look at my reaction to what they did. And that's what we go over. He doesn't tell me what I need to do in my marriage or what I need to do with my friends and all that. We look at my part. And he tells me to keep writing. But it don't look like it's going to help me, but I got to trust and rely. And I remember in the beginning, I trusted and relied on him until I was able to experience that on my own, this power. Because I believe that he believed that I can recover to the point where I was able to believe on my own. Now as I know, but I had to start from somewhere. And sometimes I have to rely on that. I trust him. I just trust him, man. I trust him. I trust what he has to say. And I know if it's not right or not. And hey, it makes sense. I had my experience with it, and I teach it. And that experience is a spiritual experience. I teach the spiritual experiences that I have. The information is one thing, but a spiritual experience, and that had to be practiced. I can get up and I can quote this book and give you all the knowledge, but we know knowledge alone is not enough. It had to come from a practical point of view. And then once I have the practical experiences, I could teach that. All I want to do is just be helpful, just to be a help. I don't want to sound good. That's not my thing. I wasn't no good schoolmate, man. I was in special classes, man. I ain't trying to be that. I ain't got no script, man. I speak from my heart. The brother told me, he said, man, you got it within you. And I'd be sitting up there cutting it up on the side of the meetings and everything. I'm like, why can't I share like shit like I'm sharing with my friend right here, you know? And I get up there all nervous and everything and be blocked. So, because I remember my brother saying that recently, don't let nobody chase you out of this fellowship. But what was coming to my mind and my experience for me is that I'll be taking myself out on what the hell I think they think about me. One more time. I'm being dominated by my disease. It gets up on me just like that, right where I'm most sensitive. What they think about me. You know, same shit. And I'm like, damn, if I leave the fellowship, what the fuck, where I'm gonna go? I can't go back to cocaine. I can't go back to the lifestyle. I ain't been to prison in 23 years, man. I ain't been in no handcuffs. I ain't been in the back of nobody's store taking a picture with their property. You know? Man, I returned people's wallets. I ran a business where I was in people's homes and I didn't touch their shit. Integrity. Man, that was a wonderful feeling, man. I'm not putting my freedom on the line anymore. And I give thanks to this program that which just steered me in a direction to form this relationship with God. So I do understand the progressive nature of my disease. It's going on right now. When I have sex, it has sex. When I'm going through the book with a sponsor, it's going through the book with a sponsor. I like to say it's looking through the book with me when I'm reading the book. It's looking right with me. So it knows everything that I'm doing. It has been granted power to do that. And it's an ongoing thing. If you would like to test when it's on, just look at your thinking when you wake up all throughout the day. Sometimes I have to turn on stuff to keep from getting those thoughts in my head, man, because I can't stop them. It has keys to my mind. It hears what I hear. But it doesn't have the power to do. It has the power of persuasion. Well, like I say, though, you get in the grips, you don't have choice no more. That's pretty bad. And they start making choices for you. That's pretty bad, man. That's bad shape. I don't want to get like that. And I could look back and see how I was in the grip of this motherfucker. How did I get back in jail? Just one more time, looking at these bars, man. God damn, I'm in jail one more time. I already know about I'm going to jail. I'm going to the court. They're going to give me so much time. I get out in a couple of years. At least I can get 3 square meals because I wasn't eating right. You know, nutritional, and a nutrition problem. So at least I can get housing, free housing. You know, actually, my brother Clifton, he was saying that he was rescued. I was rescued, man. In fact, I tried to turn myself in one time. and they wouldn't take me. I got a resentment. They was on my resentment list. You can't turn yourself in, man. I said, man, I'm a proly at large, man. All I can think about is the burritos and those little beef patties that they have in the morning, you know, in the little TV dinner in the substation. But that preserved me a lot, man. I was actually saved going to prison all the time that I did. I believe that it preserved me. And but what I needed to see out of that is what happens to me when I'm separated. You know? Why didn't religion work for me like it worked for hundreds and thousands of other people, millions of people, and change their lives? How's I'm supposed to feel? I do 6 months, 16 months devout in my religion and get out and hit the pipe. Hell yeah, I'm unworthy. Hell yeah, God works for other people, but not me. Agnostic tendencies, man. How's I'm supposed to think? Why didn't he help me? Because I wasn't ready. There was something that he had for me to do. And that's to be here with you guys right now, sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Oh yeah, I love that topic, disease, dis-ease. Oh man, the ego. Why is it so much a big secret? What the hell it is it's very prominent. It's just as prominent as God is. It's the opposite. And his job is for me, is to give me a need for God. And it's real good at what it do. Thank you, disease. Because it motivates me. It makes me so uncomfortable where I seek comfort in God. So, after each relief, you better believe it that there's another problem coming up. That's just life, without dope. I'd rather seek this thing life without dope and with God. But try to imagine living a life without God and without dope. Then what you got? Thank you. My name is Carl, and I'm an addict.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. My name's Danny. I'm an addict, and thank you so much, Carl. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, you had us zoned in all throughout. My question is really, you mentioned about when you had your last pipe and you blew it out, and that was you being separated from cocaine. Um, could you elaborate a little bit more on, when you were separated, how you got into CA and into the fellowship? Were you 12th step? Because I was talking to my sponsor yesterday about it, and I totally believe that I didn't stop. I was stopped, and all these sort of God incidences happened, one after the other. That was just the perfect alignment that got us into recovery. So just a little bit more around that, Carl. Thanks, mate.
Yes, very interesting question. Because what I realized is that God is running the show. He's running everything. And back in those days, I was always on parole or probation. And at that time, I was on parole. And their only solution for a dirty test or paraphernalia was to lock you up and give you a jail sentence, anywhere from 90 days to a year, depending on the severity. And I was tired of that. I wanted something different. And God knew my heart. And he knew that what I'd like to say was that I was driven. Nowadays, they have intervention with parole, with programs and sending people to programs and stuff. But back then, God he driven me to the treatment center because he was putting this together all alone. Because what it is, I had got a job. I was in a program, but I wasn't there to be sober, but you had to be sober to be in it. It was a state program for parolees. So I wound up getting a job, and I had managed me a little car, and I used to pick this guy up, and I used to drop him off because, we stayed close to each other and we worked at the same place. And it turns out that he was staying at the treatment center that I went to. And I asked him about the place. I'm like, I used to see a bunch of guys. I thought, that they were funny guys, just all men. What are y'all guys in this one big hotel looking thing? What's going on in there? He said, well, you can stay there, but you can't have a job and you can't use drugs. That's what he told me. I didn't know nothing about treatment. And so eventually I got kicked out of the other treatment. I started using again. I got kicked out. I had managed 3 weeks then. That's the most I ever managed sober as an adult on the streets. And I went out for 30 days. And that's when I hit my bottom. And God saw fit that it was time. And I thought about the name of the place that the guy lived at, because I didn't want what I always was getting. I didn't want to go to jail. I wanted something different. And I remember that name, and I ain't got good memory, bro. And then I'm talking about, being, from on a 30-day run, exhausted and shit. I was able to think crystal clear that name. And I called them, and they said, come on in. But I drank the beer. They told me to come back the next day and wake up sober and come in at 8 o'clock. And I did. And I don't remember when I went back that night. In fact, that last blast, I don't remember hitting no more dope after that. But what I understand, the God that came in and lifted the obsession off of me. I can't lift the obsession off myself because my mind is my problem. So I can't use the problem to try to solve the problem. I've been trying that. So God had lifted the obsession, and I didn't have no obsession to hit no more dope. And then that day when I woke up, I didn't try to go get no beer or go get a hit. I went to the treatment center. And I was able to hear what they had to say. And what happened was, I like to say that the treatment center introduced me to the meetings. The meetings introduced me to a sponsor, and the sponsor introduced me to the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. There was guys that used to come to the treatment centers and pick us up. And that's what I did. My sponsor did it, and I did it. We used to pick people up and take them to the meetings. And that's how I was introduced to the meetings. I liked what they had to say. I was attracted. I went to AA meetings. I went to CA meetings. I went to NA meetings. And I remember even the Muslims had a 12-step program, Maladi Islami. I even tried that. And I was trying to find a home. And God had directed me here to come out here in San Bernardino from Los Angeles. And this is where he put my life together. And I saw it as it was unfolding. And this is where I found a fellowship that it narrowed down. I was with different sponsors, and it wound up narrowing down to this one brother, man. And I was in desperation. I was 10 years sober. I was 10 years sober, man, and I needed to recover. I was just trying to be, I was trying to middle of the road solution without, what I would have to do and all that writing and making amends and all that stuff. But I need to know that just being sober wasn't enough for me. I had that experience. And so, yeah, man, the treatment center introduced me to the meetings. They told you, get a sponsor. And I didn't know what the hell a sponsor was. I didn't know what it means, but I had to get one because I didn't want to get kicked out. Did that answer your question, sir?
Thanks, Carl, and thanks, Danny, for your question. Ella, would you like to come in?
Hi guys, I'm Ella and I'm an addict. Thanks Isaac for the meeting, and thank you Carl so much for your share. So my question was just around surrender. Can you give an example of another significant surrender that you've had since being in recovery? Thank you.
Yeah, just like that one I was just talking about. But I surrender on a daily basis. I have to. There was things developed out of self that I need to know about me. That was a life I ran on self-will that I developed. These character defects. And some of them are so much a part of me. I don't know I can't really describe them because I don't think that they're defects until they get to interfering with my life. And then I see that I need to surrender that particular part of me like I did dope. But the surrender for me is to ask God for help, because I can't make myself sober. I can't keep myself state stopped. I need God's aid. I'm the one that got me in trouble. None of this can be done without God. So I used to say, yeah, man, I surrendered when I blew that last smoke out and I cried. I didn't know any better at that time. But it was God that said it's time. And so I have to just surrender to a little piece of me. I have to die a little bitty parts of my old self into this new self. So now I got something to replace that old stuff with, something new that's going to occupy my time to not to regress and go back and pick up that old stuff again. Because it's always back there. It's waiting. It's always just waiting. But we have to realize our problem before we're able to seek a solution. I got to see what's wrong with me. And that's what this process does. Looking at the stock and trade and the 4th step. Need a whole lot of praying. That's what I need. I told you I was special. I needed a whole lot. And I'm telling you, this program is good for special people. You don't have to be a brilliant intellect, astronaut, thinking person to get to. This is for the real last house on the bottom of the barrel thinking person. The less you can try to figure it out, the better you are. Because I think intellectual people might have a little bit more problems than I do, and really understanding that thing about themselves. But we have a lot of humble people that allow God. You can be smart to see that you got a problem and you're not the solution that God is, Did I answer your question?
Thanks, Ella, for your question. We've got 3 more hands up and about 4 minutes left. So if the next guys with their hands up just come in quickly so we can fit you all in, that'd be great. Thanks. And Michael's next.
Hi, Isaac. Thank you very much, Carl, for your share. Just a quick one. So when you were talking about being spiritually unfit and you find yourself you're blocking yourself from being able to speak in meetings and you find yourself concerned with what others may be thinking, what's the process you do to get yourself back on the beam, to find yourself back in like spiritual wellness, if you like? I'll leave it there.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. The disease is very, very clever at what it does. Very convincing. And if I had some other place to go but this program, I would have went a long time ago. But there's no other. It's just cut and dry. Either it's God or it's not. And I don't want what the disease got, because if I don't have God, then that's what I got. There's no way to avoid that. If I'm separated from God and I don't have God, then I got it. You're going to have one or the other. You can't say, okay, well, God, I don't want you and I don't want the disease. It don't work like that. You got the disease. And then it got you once you start to bite into it. I had nowhere else to go. I had to stand here. I had a girlfriend that had 5 years sober. I'm like, what? Finally got 5 years sober? Man, I went over to her house and I said, you go to meetings? What meetings you go to? I had like 30 days, Oh, I don't go to meetings. Like, what? You don't go to meetings? Why? Because I was like I was so happy. I know somebody personally got 5 years. And she said, well, you have to get up there and you have to speak in front of those people. And I don't want to do that. I'm like, what? And I know sometimes I hyperventilate and all that shit. My heart be palpitating and shit before I have to get up there and speak. Bro, but I ain't got nothing else to do. But you know what? She wound up dying on Skid Row. Eventually, she went out, kept going out, and she died. She got killed. And I don't want to die. I want to live. And I trust the process. that God would remove that fear of that, because this is what I have to do. I have to get on the forefront, and I have to carry this message to carry the message of hope to people. And my platform that I love it the most is treatment centers. I love my treatment center. I don't really feel judged there. But H&I is a good place to get comfortable with what you're sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for your question. We've got time for one more quick one. Sue, would you like to come in?
Hi, thank you very much. My name's Sue. I'm a recovered alcoholic. Thank you, Carl. That was wonderful. I just wanted to ask, and there's not much time, so I don't know. How do you experience intuitive thought and that vital sixth sense today?
Wait, how did I what?
Sorry, how do you experience intuitive thought and the vital sixth sense today?
You know, that's something that I really been concentrating on lately. Intuitive thought, or a thought for my disease, being able to distinguish the two, waiting on God's answer, waiting on his direction. This is a practical program, not a theory. It's a practical program. So I have to practice hearing God in my life, because I heard my disease. Now I have to transition being able to hear God, because he communicates the same way the disease do, through my thoughts. I believe that's where the serenity prayer come in at, to know the difference if it's God or it's my disease. I need to do that. But it's real quick. It's real easy to tell which one, if it's going to cause harm to me or somebody else. If it does, then it's not a good thing to do. I know that it's from my disease if it causes harm. But if it don't, then and it helps somebody and it's good, God is good. My disease is bad. So yes, that's something that I'm working on. I'm a slow learner, and I'm asking God to help me be able to recognize his communication. Thank you.